Hi, I'm Sandra from Wayne's Daughters, and today I'm making our famous Italian sauce recipe. Good for pizza, good for lasagna, mustacholi, spaghetti. And I got two helpers, special helpers with me today, two of my granddaughters, Summer and Miley. And they're gonna learn too, because the time's gonna come where maybe I won't be around and they're gonna have to make their own sauce. Okay, and it's a very easy recipe. I grew up with my grandmas and my mother. We're all Italian, always making the sauce, simmering it on the stove for hours to get the water out. So this is a recipe where there's no simmering. You just use your oven. It's so simple and easy. You get a thick sauce. And I also have some great new tomatoes that we featured in our greenhouse this year, the Mountain Series. And they were the nicest tomatoes, big, firm, not watery, have high yields on them, went through the drought, and we also feature them this year too. And we changed the recipe a little bit, but I'll show you as we go along what I did. So I got everything prepared so we can real quick. First I get a nice sized pan. If you don't have this one this big, then use a little smaller one. I take the olive oil and I put some on the bottom. Okay. And another reason why you make your own sauce too, don't forget, is that you can control what you put in it. That you can put in more organic stuff or better kinds of salts or sugars. Or maybe you don't want any sugar in it. Because if you look in a bottle of sauce in the store, it's loaded with sugar and salt. So are you ready, girls? Yeah. Okay, we can pour these tomatoes into here. Do you want to do that, Miley? Just pour it right out. Remember, I have the olive oil all over the bottom. Okay. Yep. Move the pan and over the great. Okay.
Whoa.
And this was about a quarter bushel of tomatoes. So that's how many I stuff in this pan. And it looks like it's high and I shouldn't put that many in, but they all cook down in time. Okay. I just sort them out a little bit here, spread them out a little bit. Okay. And next we're gonna put some other flavorings in, and this is optional. If you don't like peppers, you don't have to put peppers in. But I put the peppers in, and after you work the sauce, you don't even know they're in there. It just adds another flavor. And you don't have to cut up these peppers. It could be a pain to cut up a pepper. Just throw them right in there, because later they're gonna go through your food processor and get all cut up. So I use some yellow, and then go ahead, girls, put the green peppers in there. And I use some of the green peppers, all grown in our garden. So I know there's no pesticides, I know they're organic, I know they're fresh, and I know they're not touched by anybody but us. Okay, yep, you can put them all in there. Just spread them out. Okay, and next we're gonna put some onion in. Just throw the onion right in all over like you did the peppers. Okay. And next, we want to put the garlic in. I took about 4 cloves of garlic, fresh garlic from the garden, and just cubed it up. You don't got to slice it because it's going to also all go through the processor. Okay. Looks pretty good. Okay. So there we go. And now I like a little bit of a sweeter sauce because sometimes tomatoes can be more acidic. So then now we learn what we do is we use our famous sun sugar tomato. Here it is. It's a cherry tomato, but it's so sweet, you'll never find one as sweet as this. It was made about maybe 10 years ago, a cross between the 2 best cherry tomatoes, and it made sun sugar. It's expensive seed, but it's worth it. You get so many tomatoes on a plant. And if you want to sweeten the sauce without sugar, just put some of these sun sugars in there. Go ahead, girls. Here and there. And it really sweetens the sauce naturally. Okay. See, we just kind of keep layering this pan. They can finish that. I'm going to turn my oven on.
What did you turn the oven on to?
Okay, I put the oven on 325. We used to put it on real low, but why? It cooks up the same way. and it takes the moisture out of it, so you're not left with all water. Because when you put it in a big pan like we did years ago, the tomatoes, and cook them down, there was so much water. And even when you put it into the quarts before you put it into the sterilizer and give it a hot water bath, there was so much water in there. But this way it takes out all the water, so you're left with all the nutrients. Okay, now this is kind of a fun part. Now I'm going to add some salt, and I use Celtic salt. It doesn't raise your blood pressure. It's really good for you. But you can use regular salt too. It's just that I'm trying to be fussy today. I put about maybe 5 tablespoons in here. And you can just kind of gauge it yourself. I call it a pinch here, a pinch there. And after you do process all this, you can taste it and see what it needs and still add it. Okay, there goes some salt. And next I'm going to put some pepper on it. Smelling good, huh, girls?
Yeah.
See, that's how Italians are. We don't measure. A little this, a little that. Okay, next I use my Italian mix. And I get this at Tenuda's in Kenosha. And I just love it. It's Italian mix, Italian sauce mix. And it has the oregano and a little thyme and basil. You can just smell it all. It's so good. And I buy a big package and put it in here. And it probably lasts me a year. And it's the most expensive way, but I love Tenuda's in Kenosha. I'm from Kenosha, and I grew up going to Tenuda's all the time. Okay, now I'm going to put some of this Italian mix on. Or you can just buy the Italian seasoning at the store. It's the same thing. I just feel special when it's from Tenuda's. Okay, then that's the mix of all the Italian seasonings. Woo! And then next, you could take some Parmesan or Romano, grated cheese, and you can put that on too. Unless you don't want to like Parmesan or Romano, whatever you want, you could sprinkle that all on. I have to get some of that out. And then if you still want it a little sweeter, and you want to put some sugar on, then I use that Swerve. It's that sugar replacement. And there's no side effects to it. It's not like aspartame or something like that. It's all natural. It's from the stevia plant. So just put a little bit of that on. Okay, like this here. I just add a little bit, and believe it or not, the brown sugar gives it a real different taste. It's real Mediterranean with this. So this is another little secret, just if you want it a little sweeter. Because I do have a lot of tomatoes in here. Just a pinch. And yet I'm not adding sugar to that sauce. Okay, there we go. We're all ready to put them in the oven. I'll put it in for about 2 hours at 325. And it'll be all cooked down, and then we'll continue after that. Now I'm going to continue a little bit, but one thing I forgot. After you get your sauce and your tomatoes, all in the pan, then give it one final drizzle of olive oil to keep that top from getting crispy, keeping it a little moist. Just a nice little drizzle all over the ends and through it. Okay, and now our pan of tomatoes came out of the oven after a couple hours, and I have it all inside, all in a bowl together. And you can use your Cuisinart, or I just use my Ninja to work it up, and I don't make it stay in there too long. I like my sauce a little more thicker, but if you want yours a little more waterier, then or liquidy, then run it longer. But I'm going to show you just what I do. I put all the tomatoes. See, they're all cooked down. Even the peppers, everything is cooked down. The garlic. So when you process this, it'll be looking like a sauce that you could eat right away. And you really could. I even use this in barbecues, because when you add the Worcester sauce, it really cancels out all the Italian ingredients, and it tastes like just barbecue. And you can put it in chili. I put all kinds of things because it's so healthy with the garlic, the peppers, the onions, the tomatoes, the fresh herbs. So you can't go wrong. Okay, so I'm going to put it on here just for a little bit. But like I said, I don't want mine too watery. That's all I'd like. Okay, now get that silver bowl here, Miley. Okay, and you can pour that out into the bowl. Now you can see how it's not real thick. I mean real thick or real thin. There we go.
Looks good.
And it's really good on pizza. Really good. And it's not real watery to put on a pizza crust, so that's why I like it. And it clings to your noodles real good because it is a little thicker. So see, that's why you don't have to cut up a lot of this stuff. Yep. And another thing, we have our Wayne's Daughters aprons on today. It's the most comfortable apron. It's a little longer. I love it. It covers you. The kids have it on too. And we're going to be selling them in the store that next spring. And then you can all have your own Wayne's Daughters little aprons when you make your spaghetti sauce. They're just really nice aprons. Okay. We'll do another batch. It only takes a minute. This is so easy. You're not all day over that hot stove waiting for those tomatoes to simmer. And another thing is you're not boiling water or fooling around with when you can them. This is so easy. I just drop it into a container like I'll show you. Now look how nice that is. See? Excuse me, Summer. It just takes minutes.
Okay.
You don't have to use any pressure cookers. How many years our grandmas and my mother, some of that darn pressure cooker, you'd be afraid it was gonna blow the kitchen up. But it made so much noise and it was so much work. It was like a 2-day process. And then you have to scrub all those jars, make sure you got the lids and covers. And this is so easy. Okay. There we go. We'll do another. Okay. And if you want, like I said, thinner, go ahead. But if you make any thinner of a sauce and you want it to cling real nice to your pasta, then you'll have to put in some tomato paste. And I don't want to do that sometimes because I don't know what they crush in it. So.
Okay.
Okay, and this is the last of it. Here, and I'm going to fill it up a little bit more here. A little bit more in it. That'll only take a minute.
Okay, so girls, what's your favorite Italian food that Grandma makes?
Lasagna. Lasagna.
And when do we have that usually?
Christmas.
Yep,
usually.
Christmas Eve. We have little big lasagnas. And what else do we have?
Rice balls.
Yeah, Italian rice balls.
Yeah.
Did you ever have Italian rice? Are they good?
Ooh, maybe you can do a day like that. You can show our customers how you make Italian rice balls with our fresh parsley and the herbs that we grow.
Stick things up there. You can get me. Yeah, the Italian rice balls. I could do that next too, because it's something that they're so good that I eat too many of them when I make them.
And then you just put them in the plastic container and we're done.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I take a container like this. I take my scooper, a little scooper, and look how nice it is.
Okay.
And the herbs in here, if you could smell this, it smells just like lasagna and pizza. And then when you bake all that in the oven, your whole house, I'm gonna warn you, will smell just like an Italian kitchen, just like my grandmother's had.
Okay.
Okay, and I will make about 2 big ones like this of sauce. And I usually use one of them for a lasagna.
And then do you stick the other one in the freezer?
Yeah, I put the other ones in the freezer, and then I do some smaller ones. The smaller little plastic ones will keep out for pizza. So I'm not using a big one, then have to put it back in and freeze it again, which you can. But I use little containers then just for to make maybe 4 or 5 pizzas at a time. So there we go. Grandma's Italian tomato sauce recipe. And now, have you learned anything today?
Yep.
Yeah. They probably don't absorb it yet, but as they get older, they'll remember this date, hopefully.
Yeah.